Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Test Those Breasts podcast. I am your host, Jamie Vaughn. I'm a retired teacher of 20 years and a breast cancer thriver turned staunch, unapologetic, loud supporter and advocate for others, bringing education and awareness through a myriad of medical experts, therapists, caregivers, and other survivors. A breast cancer diagnosis is incredibly overwhelming with the mounds of information out there, especially on Dr. Google. I get it. I'm not a doctor, and I know how important it is to uncover accurate information, which is my ongoing mission through my nonprofit. The podcast includes personal stories and opinions from breast cancer survivors and professional physicians, providing the most up-to-date information at the time of recording. Evidence, research, and practices are always changing, so please check the date of the recording and always refer to your medical professionals for the most up-to-date information. I hope you find this podcast a source of inspiration and support from my guests. Their contact information is in the show notes, so please feel free to reach out to them. We have an enormous breast cancer community ready to support you in so many ways. Now let's listen to the next episode of Test Those Breasts. Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to this episode of Test Those Breasts. I am your host, Jamie Vaughn, and today I am so excited to have my guest on the show, Sabrina Skiles. Sabrina is a passionate breast cancer survivor and advocate dedicated to empowering others through her journey and experiences. As the author of Read That Again, Surviving Breast Cancer with Courage, Candor, and Community, and the creator of the docuseries Tales from the Chemo Chair with Health Central, she provides valuable insights into navigating a diagnosis as a young mother. Sabrina's work as an ambassador for Know Your Lemons underscores her commitment to educating others with about breast health. Through her authentic storytelling, she seamlessly blends survivorship, motherhood, and advocacy, inspiring audiences to embrace their stories with strength and grace. Well, Sabrina, I am so excited to have you on the show. I've been really looking forward to having you tell your story. And we actually got to meet in person in December, which was really cool because when I was going to the breast cancer symposium, I saw that Know Your Lemons, all of you were going to be there. So I was super excited about that. We got to go to Legoland and have some breakfast together. So welcome to the show, Sabrina. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Jamie. I'm so excited.
Well, it's funny because just this morning we were on a global webinar that we have every month. And to my audience, most people know who've been listening for a while, they know that I am a Lemonista for Know Your Lemons and I am a global partner with Know Your Lemons. And there's so many things that I have learned in the past couple of months about Know Your Lemons and just how deep that partnership actually goes, which I never realized until just recently. And I'm excited to share that with the world and with my community and you shortly. But let's talk about you. You are a breast cancer survivor. And typically, when I ask people to be on the show who are survivors, I always ask who was that person before breast cancer, because we all know that things change, as we go through this trauma. So, who was Sabrina before breast cancer?
Yes, so that's a great question. It's really hard to think about and talk about because you don't really think of it that after
Yeah.
you have breast cancer. But prior to breast cancer, I was very active in the health advocacy space. Already sharing my journey with living with psoriasis, and I've been a writer with Health Central for over 10 years. Very active on Instagram, sharing what it was like living with a chronic disease like psoriasis, but also blending my love of fashion and writing. So those living with psoriasis are very prone to sensitive skin. So for me, it was about showing not just what psoriasis was like, but what it was like managing a chronic disease while blending my love of fashion and raising two young kids. So that's what my life kind of was like before breast cancer, is just my passion for health advocacy and what it was like raising two young kids and my love for travel with my family as well.
Okay, so you had a pretty busy life. You had an exciting life, a glamorous life with your fashion and everything. Yeah. So, when were you diagnosed? What was your diagnosis? What were your treatments? Tell us all the things about that.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. So I was diagnosed almost 6 years ago. I was 35 at the time. And I had no previous family history. I was now my family history. I just had randomly been feeling on my right side of my chest. And that's when I felt a lump. And I wish I could say that I was very active for doing self breast exams, but honestly, I wasn't. I would do them here and there. And
Mhm.
honestly, when I started doing self breast exams, I really didn't feel confident that I was doing it the right way. You go to your well woman exam, you go to your OB, and they ask you, "Hey, did you do your self breast exam?" Yeah, I did it in the shower. Yeah, I did it yesterday. And then they'll kind of do it themselves, but they're okay in doing it, but it was those moments that I was like, "Oh, wow, when was the last time I did my self-breast exam?" And so when I felt the lump, I immediately called my OB at the time because prior to that, I was 35. So I had one mammogram, but that was while I was breastfeeding my
Mhm.
oldest, and I felt a lump, and it turned out it was just a clogged duct. So I never really had that much experience with mammograms or how to book them. Who do I call? Do I go to my PCP? Do I go to my OB? And so immediately my OB-GYN ordered a mammogram and then an ultrasound and then a biopsy. And so it was obviously the biopsy that diagnosed
Mhm.
my breast cancer. And so my diagnosis was stage two hormone positive, HER2 negative breast cancer. And there are several different factors that factored into me having surgery, chemo, and radiation. And the main thing was that my tumor was less than 5 centimeters, and that makes you a good candidate for having surgery prior to chemo. Because some people will have chemo to decrease the
Mm.
size of the tumor.
That
But
was me.
because my tumor, yeah, but because my tumor was smaller, I chose to do surgery. So I did the surgery, and I just did a lumpectomy. I wanted to preserve as much breast tissue as I could, and so I did the lumpectomy, and then I did 16 rounds of chemo, and then I had 18 sessions of radiation to the right side. And then afterwards, and I've been on ovarian suppression and an injection for the last 5.5 years.
Wow.
And that's what.
You went through a lot. I'm always shocked. I'm not really anymore because I've interviewed so many,
Mhm.
but of, so many young women getting breast cancer. Like one of my main audiences that I'm trying to reach are people who've never been diagnosed. And one of my friends
Mhm.
one time said, "Well, why are you trying to have those as part of your audience? It's not even on their radar." And I said, "That's why." Like, when I was in my
Mhm.
20s and 30s, that wasn't on my radar, and I wish that it had been because obviously we need to have it on our radar, especially with the statistics of how many people are getting breast cancer and women are younger and younger now. So,
Mhm.
I'm so glad that your OBGYN ordered that mammogram and that ultrasound right away because that is not the experience that a lot of women have. They're
Yeah.
usually, "Oh, it's nothing," I'm sure it's
Mhm.
nothing, it's just hormones or whatever. And I mean, you probably would agree that I was diagnosed at 54, so I had already been
Okay.
getting mammograms. I'd already knew I
Yeah.
had dense breast tissue. I'd had 2 lumpectomies in the
Yeah.
past that were benign. But even though I knew a lot about breast cancer, when I got diagnosed, there was a lot of stuff I didn't know about breast cancer. Not
Yeah.
only did I not know about the 12 signs of breast cancer, I didn't know how to actually do a real breast exam, and a lot of people don't. And so in your survivorship, we're going to kind of go into know your lemons because that's who you are with now as the community manager. Can you just
Mhm.
give us a background of the Know Your Lemons Foundation, what their mission and vision and all those things?
Yeah. So I actually came across Know Your Limits through the power of social media through my diagnosis. I had somebody from Know Your Limits reach out to me and said, "Hey, you're sharing a lot about breast cancer. Do you know about our organization?" And I'm like, "No, I don't, but I want to because." So, what Know Your Limits does is we educate on the importance of early detection through creative and empowering visuals, like the 12 signs and symptoms of breast cancer through the different symptoms on a lemon. So there's 12 signs and symptoms. We have it on the 12 lemons in an egg carton. And so it makes it really easy to talk about the 12 signs and symptoms. And so that's our mission, to just live in a world where less and less people are diagnosed with breast cancer because of the knowledge that we have of early detection and the knowledge of our 12 signs and symptoms. And so I started with Know Your Lemons through the amazing power of social media. I started just sharing all the resources that we have. And that includes social media images, individual symptoms of each sign that we have, and just sharing that, making reels. Because for me, the people my age, women and men my age, we're all on social media now. And so
Mhm.
for me, it was just easy to share that information with my community online. And just like when I was diagnosed, even now I'm like, what were we having these conversations in my circle with my girlfriends? Like, hey, did you do a self breast exam? Do you know how to? And like, we weren't having those conversations. So that was a big turning point for me of like, how can I talk to my girlfriends about it in a way that is just easy and relatable and easy to understand? That's just the main reason why I love Know Your Limits, is that it's just easy to talk about and
Mhm.
easy to share, and that it gives us conversation starters to talk to our girlfriends about it, talk to our partner about it, talk to our doctors about it. And so within my whole, working with Know Your Lemons, I'm now the community manager. And what that means is that with Know Your Lemons, we have a global community of our what we call lemonistas. And those are our educators and our ambassadors. And we have over 1,300 educators across the globe teaching in 40 different countries
Mhm.
in 10 different languages. And that's another amazing thing about Know Your Lemons, is that our education is accessible and it's easy to share, and it's culturally relevant as well. And because of the translations that we have, thanks to our Luministas, they're sharing it in their communities as well. And so our educators go out and teach classes for their communities with all of our printed materials. And then our social media ambassadors share our education online as well. So I get to support these incredible people that we have, and make sure that they just continue to spread the message of our resources and materials online.
Well, and it's super fun too. And I will say, as a Lemonista and a partner with Know Your Lemons, I have gotten so much support and I've just learned so much more, especially after, and I haven't come out to the public about this yet about what we're launching. What I will say is that Test Those Breasts is taking off. I have created a wonderful leadership team, a board of directors for governance, and I'm learning all kinds of things about the nonprofit that I started in 2024, but just wasn't running it the way a nonprofit needs to be run. But now I am. So I'm learning a lot and I'm realizing just how powerful the Know Your Lemons partnership is and what Corinne and your team has created for people like me, organizations like me around the world. It is an ecosystem that is insanely brilliant, I would say. And I love all of the social media posts and the visuals and graphics. It's like literally nothing we've ever seen before. And I think that it is something that we all need to be excited about because when we are talking about early detection, had
Mhm.
I had that knowledge, Sabrina, a few months
Mhm.
prior to my diagnosis, I could have been diagnosed probably at stage 1, or
Mhm.
0 instead of stage
Mhm.
2, but I just didn't have that
Right.
knowledge yet. And so thank you. And thank you for your support
Mhm.
as the community manager. It's just so fun. So let's talk about community. What have you learned about the power of community through this
Mhm.
work?
Oh, I think that it's amazing how many people you come into contact with that are just so passionate about early detection and talking about it in a way that just demystifies what it is talking about breast cancer because we want to talk about it in a way that we take out the fear and we take out the taboo of talking about it. And so that's what I've found really powerful is just how passionate our lemonistas and our partners are when it comes to talking about know your lemons and talking about how can we help get the word out. And it's people like you that want to talk about know your lemons, that want to create these partnerships, that want to just keep asking the question, how can I help, what can I do, because this is something that I wish I had before my diagnosis, or something I wish that I could share with my partner or my mom. So that's just been just the most powerful thing that I've seen is just how passionate our lemonistas and our partners are in helping us get the message out to as many people as we can.
I love that. And you also have more people wearing the color yellow. Like I never wore yellow before. Now I wear it all the time. You know what? Can we talk about that app that you have?
Yeah.
Because that's pretty exciting. I've had the app and there's been a lot of updates. Can you share a little
Mhm.
bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, Corinne is just like her brain just thinks so differently. And she's just been incredible when it comes to thinking about everything that goes into this app. So, our app is free for anybody on for Android and Apple. You can download the app. It doesn't collect any of your personal information. And we make it super easy to talk about the signs and symptoms. So you can scroll through the images. We have an animated video that Mona Lisa will walk you through exactly how to do a self breast exam. And when I tell you the first time I saw this video, I'm like, oh my God. I've been doing a self breast exam, not the wrong way, but I just didn't know what to look for, what to feel for, and how easy it was. And so this video was just a game changer for me and sharing it with my girlfriends as well. And the app, thankful to our partner, we have been able to customize it for Black breast health because, as we all know, breast cancer looks different on every different type of skin. And so we've been really thankful to partner with our amazing partners that help us customize it for Black breast health. So you can go in the app and customize it for that. And we recently have a risk of reoccurrence quiz for those who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. It walks you through, it's basically a knowledge guide that will give you conversation starters to talk to your doctor on, hey, what is my risk of reoccurrence? And we give you, information tidbits on what's your diet like, what's your lifestyle like. These are the conversations you can have with your doctor to start that conversation of risk of reoccurrence. And we have incorporated the Tyrer-Cuzick risk assessment in there as
Yes.
well. We have online badges that you can get once you do your self breast exam and you book your mammogram. You get badges in there that you can share on social media and gives you something to work towards because those things, matter. They matter as when you do your self breast exam. And we send you reminders depending on where you are at in your cycle. And if you aren't having a cycle, you can click that and we send you reminders on the same exact day to do your self breast exam. So amazing app, free app. And we also have the app in 10 different languages as well. So you can put your language in there. And that it makes it super accessible as well. So lots of different amazing things for that.
Yeah, lots of different learning styles. I love that the foundation has just really been able to do that. And I just appreciate that. And I love the video of Mona Lisa. I never knew that you were supposed to go all up in here and all over,
Right.
you know?
Uh-huh.
And most people don't. Anyway, but thanks to Know Your Lemons, more and more people do. I love the
Yes.
map that's on the website where you can actually see visually how many Lemonistas are in the world. And on top of that, how many people have been educated through the Know Your Lemons curriculum, which is really great. And the curriculum is brilliant as well. And I know that you are all always thinking about how can we make it better? What can we add? What can we change? And it just makes it a lot of fun to actually go do a breast health class. So thank you for
Yes.
that. Um,
Amazing.
there are some new things happening too with Know Your Lemons. Can you share some of the programs that are happening?
Yes. So we are always looking for Lemonistas in all across the world. So if you're interested in teaching a class and you're just interested and curious about what Know Your Lemons is like, we are always looking for you to join us as a Lemonista. We give you all the tools that you need to be a Lemonista. You go through a short certification that teaches you all of our resources, and we give you a PowerPoint presentation to go out and just make you feel confident in teaching about Know Your Lemons. So we're always looking for Lemonistas as well as ambassadors. If you don't feel like you have the bandwidth to teach in your communities, social media ambassador is another great way that you can still be involved with Know Your Lemons, and you go through a very short certification as well, and you get access to all of our resources, all of our materials. You can send it and spread it into your social media profiles in any way that you like. We make it super easy for you to share with your communities. And then another really amazing project that we have that we're working on this year is our lemonade stand. And
Yes.
this is, it's I mean, it's just such a cool, amazing thing that we're doing. And it is going to be a centralized hub thanks to our amazing partners that we are partnering with. It's just going to be a one stop shop, one stop resource for those newly diagnosed. We're bringing together our incredible partners to offer trusted tools, support, guidance, all in one place because it's just going to make it super easy for you. So we want to bring together the amazing work that our partners are doing and have it all in one place for those who are newly diagnosed. So those are
Okay, that's
the
really cool. That is so cool.
so we're excited.
I love the creativity and this always thinking. I'm sure that you have such a hard time sleeping at night because you all are thinking about how exciting this stuff is. That's the way I feel of what we're doing right now to make it easier and more fun and oh, I just love it.
Yes,
So,
it's good.
so a couple more questions before we wrap up today. I want to talk about some of the biggest gaps that we're
Mm,
seeing in breast health education right now. I know that, part of it for me is having people be able to advocate for themselves with their healthcare providers. Some healthcare providers make it really easy to advocate for yourself, but some
mhm.
don't. And I hear stories every day. What are some of the gaps that you're seeing?
Yeah, along those lines is that I don't think that people are taught how to know their body. And so, in classes and even in our adult life, we're not really taught how to know our body. We might be taught like, hey, this is what to look for, but we just don't know how we're just not taught how to know our bodies. So, and really how to do a self breast exam the right way. And what does that actually mean? And so, for me, I think that's where the gap is that people just don't feel confident taking the action to do those things. And when you're doing a self breast exam, you're not on the hunt for cancer. You're on the hunt to know your body and know what is normal. And that's where Know Your Lemons can come into with the knowledge that we have in the app. It gives you those step by step guidances so that people know what to look and feel for. And then, really, I think the other thing is that I don't think that education is accessible or relatable because, again, it goes back to people just not knowing how to talk about breast cancer in a
Mhm.
way where it reduces fear and taboo. And that's where we come in too, because of our simple visuals, our global language and translations. We make it easy, accessible, and just culturally relevant for the education to make sure people actually understand it in a way that is appropriate for them.
I love that. And again, going back to educating people younger and younger, I know that we talked even this morning about having it for younger folks, like even in middle school, to know their lemons. And I love that Corinne, really decided to use lemons because everyone knows what a lemon is. And I know, like in Peru, lemons are green, but it's still,
Mhm.
nevertheless, it's a lemon. And I went for a backpacking trip last spring in Peru and was able to talk to our guide about her village and how she could become a Lemonista. And I'm still talking to her about that. And yeah, yeah. So I need to reach out to her again because I really do think that she would be amazing there. Are there any stories that really captures the impact of what you've seen through the Know Your Lemons community?
Yeah, I get to read the reports coming in from our Luministas across the globe. And I just love that one, we're just teaching in so many different languages and that people are passionate enough to teach in those different languages. Another amazing story that we've come across is that we have a course for our educational resources to be brought into your workplace. And when this happened, one of the employees was on the webinar, and he brought the information back to his mom, and he was talking about the webinar and Know Your Lemons and the 12 signs and symptoms, and it just kind of opened up the conversation to have some conversation he never expected to have with his mom. And then within the next couple months, his mom went in for a mammogram, and because of the information her son shared with her, she was able to have that conversation with her doctor and pushed for another imaging. And she actually got diagnosed because of this information that he got from one of our webinars. So it's just been incredible stories like that, that you never know the power of one story is going to make and who you're going to be able to reach, especially if you're just sharing on social media or teaching in a class. You just never know who's going to take that information back and the impact that it's going to have. So I could go on and on about the different
Oh,
stories
yeah.
that we hear. Yeah.
I get a lot of stories myself. Jamie, it's because of your post with the 12 lemons. I took myself in, or this post or whatever. I took myself in and I was able to get a mammogram and I was just diagnosed. It's just
Mhm.
insane. And the idea is to find it early, right? Find it early, change the outcome. That's my whole thing.
Exactly.
Literally just had a friend of mine, a former colleague of mine. She was actually an administrator at the school I was teaching at. She sent me a message and said, "Jamie, I have had this rash on my breast and it's
Mhm.
new and it doesn't seem to be going away. So I have an appointment to go into my dermatologist." So she immediately thought that at first, which is fine. And I
Yeah.
told her, I said, "Make sure that your dermatologist is understands the 12 signs of breast cancer." But
Mhm.
she said it's because of your posts that I knew that that was one of the signs, and so she's taking herself in, and I need to follow up with her, so that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So, to wrap up today, what kind of message do you hope that listeners take away from this conversation?
Oh, I think I want listeners to know that early detection is key, and that we can all know our bodies in a way that doesn't make us fearful, but that knowledge, as cliche as it is, but knowledge really is power. And if you feel like this doesn't relate to you, share it with somebody, because our app is for everybody, honestly. And our app and our images and our signs and symptoms have literally saved lives. So I think if you take away anything from this, that it can help someone in your life,
Yeah.
to start that conversation, get the mammogram booked, start a risk assessment, and just start having the conversations.
Yeah, and even with men. I've been speaking with a lot of men recently. I never knew that men could get breast cancer until I got breast cancer, but recently I have 2 interviews coming up with 2 breast cancer survivors in the next week or 2. They know about Know Your Lemons now, so they know what to look for. Well, Sabrina, this has been such an amazing conversation. I'm so excited that we finally were able to make this work. I'm glad that I've been able to meet you in person, and I appreciate all of the incredible creative hard work you all do at Know Your Lemons. And I am a very, very proud Lemonista, and I am a proud partner. And I'm just excited to move forward with all of you in what we're doing here in Northern Nevada, which again, it'll come out a little bit, but it's going to be fun. So thank you. Is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up today?
Just thank you too, Jamie, for the work you continue to do and your partnership and your work as Luminista. We are super grateful for that. And yeah, we just really appreciate it. And go download the app, everybody.
Yes, go download the app. It is actually on my website. I have a whole resource page of everyone that I've interviewed with their resources. That app is on my resource page. So I will put that link in there so that people can get on that. So thank you so much, Sabrina. And to my audience, thank you again for joining us on this episode of Test Those Breasts. And we will see you all next time on the next episode. Bye for now. Friends, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Test Those Breasts. I hope you got some great, much needed information that will help you with your journey. As always, I am open to guests to add value to my show, and I'm also open to being a guest on other podcasts where I can add value. So please reach out if you'd like to collaborate. My contact information is in the show notes. And as a reminder, rating, reviewing, and sharing this podcast will truly help build a bigger audience all over the world. I thank you for your efforts. I look forward to sharing my next episode of Test Those Breasts.